Welcome to the last week of the course, Basics of Mechanical Engineering 2. We are discussing about manufacturing processes in this course. In this last week, we are focusing on sustainability or sustainable manufacturing. So this week is titled as Introduction to Sustainable Manufacturing. I am Dr. Ramandeep Singh Borai from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. The contents of this lecture will flow like this. We'll give an introduction to sustainability. What does the term sustainability implies? And how is sustainability related to green manufacturing? And what anyway is green manufacturing, that also we will discuss. Then triple bottom line of sustainability. What are the three major pillars on which the sustainability is standing on? Components of the triple bottom line, benefits and challenges in implementing those. Then elements of sustainable manufacturing. In sustainable manufacturing, what are certain elements, that is the elemental level, to what level we start from and to what level you need to reach, that also we will see. And in engineering, we'll talk about sustainability. When we talk about sustainability in engineering, in the coming lectures, we'll talk about green machining, green manufacturing systems. From the systems viewpoint, when we talk about manufacturing from a systems, it talks about the complete supply chain, complete ERP, enterprise resource planning. But from there, from the complete factory to the production line to the specific unit process. In unit process, green machining will more focus upon here. Then some regulation and policies that I'll discuss in this lecture only, because when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about green manufacturing, when we talk about ecological manufacturing systems, this is all aligned to the SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals. And those, what are regulations and policies, generic policies which are there in India, that we will talk about. This will be just introduction to the sustainability in the first lecture. Then we'll talk about specifically sustainable manufacturing in the forthcoming lectures in this week. Sustainability. Sustainability is the responsible use of resources to meet the present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs, which means the resources nowadays, our future generations 100 years from now should also be able to enjoy the same, which means the way we are resourcing the resources could be anything. It could be water, it could be land, it could be anything that is manufactured. That we are using nowadays, the way we are enjoying it, 100 years from now, our future generation should also be able to enjoy at the same level. That means the purity of water, the soil that has to be maintained with all nutrients, the purity of air, everything has to be maintained. Maintained means this is what sustainable system has to be there. Now in engineering and business, sustainability involves designing systems and processes that minimize environmental harm. This is first point. Second point is remain economically viable and contribute to societal well-being. Societal well-being, when we say sustainable designs are in such a way so that social, economic and environmental, all the factors are taken care about. So this needs to have certain initiatives, such as we need to have innovative solutions. Then existing resources, whatever we have to use that in an optimized way. Optimized resources, or I will call it resource efficiency as well. This all is to be done with the integration of long-term policy. By prioritizing sustainability, industries can enhance resilience, reduce risks, and drive positive change while maintaining operational success. In manufacturing, when we talk about sustainability in manufacturing, is an essential approach that focuses on reducing environmental impact, optimizing resource usage, and ensuring long-term economic and societal benefits. This is the same thing. The rapid industrialization and increasing environmental concerns have pushed companies to adopt sustainable practices. When we talk about sustainable practices, nowadays, you know, carbon credit trading, carbon credit trading, You develop carbon credits, that is while working you develop something so that you are saving something for the environment or in the environment. Those credits you can convert into the economic terms as well. Like you grow a number of trees, you try to develop the system so that you purify water. Those systems could be then converted into carbon credits. These credits are sold to the companies who will purchase them and give you something in monetary terms. This all is required to have a carbon accounting system. Carbon accounting systems. So there are companies specifically focusing on the carbon accounting itself. For example, Schneider Electric, they are developing their own software systems where we put in the data, the way your logistics are running, the way your supply chain system is running, the energy that is consumed by your machines. So those are all taken as input by this company, and this company gives you a carbon accounting that what is the green or carbon rating of your system or the product or the production line that you are using. So in this lecture, we will explore various aspects of sustainability in manufacturing, including key principles, regulations, case studies, future trends, advantages, limitations, and real-world applications. When we talk about sustainability, triple bottom line is the basic criteria that is being talked about. In today's business landscape, sustainability is a critical factor influencing corporate strategies and decision making. The triple bottom line framework introduced by John Ellington in 1994 provides a comprehensive approach to evaluate business performance beyond financial profits by incorporating three fundamental dimensions, that is people, planet, profit. I'll talk about this in detail in the coming slides. When we talk about people, we are talking about society. When we talk about planet, we are talking about environment. When talking about profit, that encompasses the economic aspects of the business. Triple bottom line encourages organizations to achieve a balance between economic, environmental, and social well-being. These three words are here. This approach is gaining widespread recognition among businesses, policymakers, researchers as a pathway to sustainable development and long-term profitability. Triple bottom line is a sustainability framework that measures a company's success by considering three interconnected elements: profit, people, and planet. In profit, financial return an organization generates for shareholders is discussed. In people, an organization's commitment to positivity impacting society, that is maybe generating more employment or developing the system so those are clean for the societies which are living around. Then planet and organization effect on the environment, that is minimizing the production or generation of waste. In the triple bottom line, when we talk about people, planet, profit, nowadays in 2025, AI's role in triple bottom line is very critical. That is, understanding a triple bottom line framework, there are tools which try to integrate the societal impact analysis, the environmental impact monitoring, and financial performance tracking, and developing the AI tools. As I talked about the carbon accounting, monitoring system. To develop this system, to make the system in a way so that it understands the way you are working, this is developed using AI. I'm not going into this direction because this will be a different tangent to the course. I will be more focusing on manufacturing only. So that part I will more focus. This lecture is only introduction. That is why I'm trying to introduce what is TBL and what are the other components of the sustainable manufacturing. People, that is social sustainability. This dimension of TBL focuses on the impact of businesses operations on employees, customers, and communities. Organizations committed to social sustainability aim to ensure fair labor practices and worker rights, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workspace, engage in corporate social responsibility, that is CSR initiatives such as community development, philanthropy or so, provide safe and ethical working conditions. By prioritizing responsibility, businesses can build a positive reputation and enhance stakeholder trust. Then comes planet, that is environmental sustainability. In environmental sustainability, we emphasize on minimizing negative environmental impacts. The companies focusing on this aspect strive to reduce carbon footprints and greenhouse gas emissions, implement energy efficient and renewable energy solutions, adopt sustainable resource management and waste reduction practices, develop eco-friendly products and packaging. So in this, when we talk about environmental sustainability, resource conservation and ecosystem protection is very important, pollution and waste reduction is very important, renewable energy and efficiency is important. Organizations integrating environmental sustainability into their strategies contribute to global efforts in mitigating climate change and preserving natural ecosystems. Then comes profit, that is economic sustainability. While financial success remains a key objective, the TBL model urges businesses to achieve profitability in an ethical and responsible manner. Economic sustainability involves generating long-term value for stakeholders rather than short-term gains. Long-term means, when we're talking about sustainability, the sustainable products which are having a long-term benefit in place of the short-term immediate benefit that could be somewhere higher in the terms of profit. But for the long-term benefit, when we are trying to design or use a material that is more biodegradable, so that is a long-term benefit in future. The overall cycle from the cradle to grave, when we talk about the life cycle assessment, we'll talk about life cycle assessment in the coming lectures, that when the ore is extracted from the very birth of the material, it converts through various cycles, through various processes in the material, it is reused, then it goes to disposal. To the point of the disposal, the overall long-term benefit is more focused here. That is long-term value for the stakeholders. Then investing in innovation and sustainable technologies, practicing transparent financial reporting and corporate governance. When I say transparent financial reporting, here also we have carbon reporting. That would though come in environmental sustainability, but when we talk about financial reporting, financial gains are now linked to the carbon footprints or carbon accounting systems as well. That is the carbon credits that you develop. Supporting fair trade and ethical business practices. A well-balanced economic strategy ensures businesses' longevity while maintaining ethical standards and benefiting the society. 3 pillars of sustainability, once again talking about in this illustration in a way. Economy is a smaller part. That is now financial gains when we talk about profit. Though it is taken as a pillar itself, all the 3. If we talk about profit, people and planet, this is where your sustainable manufacturing is standing on. But profit is here smaller, in which GDP, production, wealth, labor, trade, that is promoting economic stability without harming the environmental society. Then comes society, community, culture, health, governance, policy. This was being focused since long. We'll call it as people here. This is society. Now more focus when we talk from the sustainable manufacturing viewpoint is given to the planet. That is environmental sustainability. So I will put an arrow that this is given more focus. Here ecosystems, materials, energy, land, habitat, air, water, biodiversity, that is protecting nature and reducing environmental damage is major focus. Now how to implement the triple bottom line? Now I am talking about general viewpoint that what are the different elements, different pillars of sustainability. We have to take all of them and in unison we have to develop a system so that this all is implemented. Now the point is how to implement the triple bottom line. We need to define the goals, and when we talk about the ESG, that is environmental social governance, the company's focuses on specific of one of these 3 specific elements. Environmental element is definitely be taken into account because ESG is E for environment itself. So some companies more focus on developing something for society. Some companies more focus upon developing products which are more green. So those way we design to implement the triple bottom line. How do we implement? Achieving a successful triple bottom line strategy requires purposeful leadership, a commitment to sustainable innovation. Organizations can take the following steps. That is, they can define clear sustainability goals. That is, establish measurable objectives that align with corporate values and industry practices. Specific goals, when I'm talking about what we are trying to do. Are we trying to reduce what? Energy consumption, or reduced waste generation, or are we focusing on developing bio or green materials? We need to engage the stakeholders, that is collaborate with employees, customers, suppliers and communities to drive sustainable initiatives. There are a lot of advertisement, lot of commercials nowadays talk about different ratings, like if you need to purchase a refrigerator, 5-star rating, if you need to purchase a product that is maybe a cups which are developed through the material that is biodegradable, cups made of the paper or so. So those, all the people, including customers, are to be educated on what is the need of the triple bottom line nowadays. We need to integrate sustainable practices. Integrate sustainable practices in a way, we need to implement responsible sourcing, waste reduction and energy efficient technologies. And measure and report progress is the most important point here. Anyway, amongst all the points, we need to focus is upon them, but to measure, the way to measure, the way to develop the metrics of measurement. When I talk about metrics, metrics could be specifically in the unit manufacturing process in a way for specific machining. How do we measure what is energy consumption, how is this reduced? For specific machineries, what is the utilization of cutting fluid and how is this cutting fluid being replaced with a biodegradable cutting fluid or being reducing the consumption of cutting fluid, how is it benefiting? This is specific metric for the unit manufacturing process only. And in the production line itself, there could be the supply of material or the transfer of material in the material handling from one machine to another. How is that going? Is it using manual labor? Is it using automated systems? How is that being managed? Then certain metrics may be in logistics as well. How do we transport? Using bigger trucks, using smaller trucks? What is the efficiency? And all those things are to be measured and reported. That means we utilize sustainability metrics and transparent reporting to track impact and ensure accountability. Then we foster a culture of responsibility. That is, each and every person, that is what we call it as a TPM, total productive maintenance, is actually a concept which is there a part of the TQM, total quality management, where the person who is working on the machine itself works on the maintenance of the machine. Each person who is the operator of the machine is taught to also maintain the machine to some extent. In the similar concept, we have total environmental maintenance. That is, the people who are working in different parts, all the stakeholders, when they are educated about sustainable manufacturing, in the factory itself where they are working, the sustainable practices are introduced. That is, reducing the use of paper. That is, reusing something. The bottles that you are using, the water bottles, could be reused for some other purposes. All those parts are introduced here. So that is, we encourage employees and leadership to champion ethical and sustainable decision making. Although adopting TBL principles requires effort and investment, it leads to long-term business benefits and for businesses and society as a whole. Benefits of TBL approach, definitely when we try to adopt a TBL framework, several advantages are there. Enhanced brand reputation, that is, consumers and investors favor businesses committed to sustainability. Nowadays, even a mandate has to come that specific elements you cannot even use, like chromium 6 that is there in the leather industry, which is close to Kanpur, which was in the Kanpur itself a few years back. So Kanpur was also known as leather city of the world. Now river Ganges, which was being contaminated by the water that was being completely disposed of to the river Ganges, chromium-6 was being developed. Now, regularization of the water treatment plants has helped to develop that, and also the systems where the industry is there, that is also moved to the neighboring city, where the population is not that great. So that is the industrial parks are being developed in the city of now close to Kanpur. So these certain initiatives are being taken by government itself. So enhanced business reputation, that we are working upon the business that is focusing on sustainability, that favors regulatory compliances, that is meeting environmental and social regulations. That is what I am talking about, one of the examples in leather industry. So this reduces the legal risks. Employee satisfaction and retention, ethical business practices attract and retain talent. Long-term profitability is also there. However, there are certain challenges. Measuring social and environmental impact, unlike financial performance, quantifying sustainability metrics are complex, because different machines that you purchase are of different make, the energy consumption that they do, and different kinds of the material handling systems, different kinds of weights which are produced. To quantify them, though there are systems already developed, but to implement them to the ground level, to the each of the factories, even to the small MSMEs which are there, they could use those systems in their level. That is having still a big challenge. Initial investment costs are there. Initial investment costs, these are to be calculated in NPV, net present value, and IRR, internal rate of return. These are the metrics which helps us to see when would this investment would be covered, or even maybe even the break-even chart, taking a break-even point, that in how many years or after how many sales of the products this initial cost would be covered. That is to be calculated. Sustainable transitions often require substantial upfront investments. Balancing interests, that is aligning the goals of stakeholders, investors, and sustainability initiatives, can be challenging. Having talked about triple bottom line, that what are the pillars of sustainability, let me now talk about some strategies or some elements of sustainable manufacturing. Here are some elements. When we talk about sustainable manufacturing, we need to talk on different directions, either technology or energy or material. That is, either we could have green energy or green technology or green material. When we talk about green technology, that is improve the manufacturing process, there are certain ways that we'll discuss in the coming lectures. That is, we can use different kinds of this machining systems, that is minimum quantity lubrication, maybe the quantity of the lubricant or quantity of the cutting fluid that you use that goes into the water finally, so that is minimized. Or we use cryogenic engineering. Cryogenic treatment means we do the machining at a very low temperature so that the machining happens quickly, but initial investment is higher. So certain technological systems are there. Then comes energy, green energy, that is use clean energies. Clean energies means either reducing the energy consumption, regular energy consumption that you are using, that could be reduced, or taking energy from the renewable sources of energy. Maybe if not complete, some part of the energy could be taken from the green or renewable sources of energy, that is solar, wind, etc. could be implemented. So then we have green material, that is we use the materials which have lower impact, which are materials which could be recycled, or materials which could be reused. Those are taken more into account. When we talk about technology and material in unison, this talks about improving the material efficiency. And when we talk about technology and energy, we talk about improving the energy efficiency. This is where the technology has to focus. And energy and material, we try to reduce the embedded energy within the material. There is embodied energy as well. I will put the word. When we talk about embodied energy, that means the energy that is consumed to develop a specific product. For example, to manufacture a car in a specific country, there is energy consumption, right? In India, this energy consumption is related to the amount of the carbon footprint that is generated. Now, it depends upon the sources of energy. Sources of energy in India is majorly the thermal power sources. In France, you see the sources could be the nuclear resources which are there. So, nuclear energy produces very less pollution, that is very less carbon footprint in comparison to what we do in thermal power plants here in India. So, embodied energy is the energy that is there to produce any product. Now again, in the sustainable manufacturing system triangle, we are going to focus upon environmental, societal and economic aspect, and we need to manage waste, we need to manage energy consumption, overall manage the manufacturing cost as well. As some of the principles, more and more enterprises are engaging in sustainable manufacturing nowadays. They have various ways of measuring its level of success and efficiency. Below are just some of the best practices companies can follow when observing sustainability. It is reduce inputs in production, use eco-friendly alternatives for raw materials and optimize processes to minimize waste, reevaluate the use of fossil fuels, that is reduce energy consumption to lower carbon emissions and cut energy cost, improve efficiency in facilities, modify operations to minimize waste and enhance production efficiency, recycle, implement an effective recycling system to reduce waste to lower cost and to benefit the environment, decrease pollution. It is limit the use of harmful materials and invest in resource reuse technologies like water treatment plant. These are all the points which I just discussed about water treatment, about recycle, about reuse and etc. Now talking further about elements of sustainable manufacturing, smart and sustainable manufacturing systems incorporate several vital elements nowadays which contribute to environmentally responsible and social conscious production system. These elements include renewable energy integration, that is adopting renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, hydropower to the power that is used in manufacturing. Resource efficiency, prioritizing the efficient use of materials and resources through waste reduction, recycling and reusing materials. Nowadays additive manufacturing is there in which no waste or no scrap is generated at all. Only you use filament, you use powder, you use sheets and you try to keep on manufacturing layer by layer. So in that case the material waste is minimum, but the production rate is very low, because nowadays even additive manufacturing, though it is taking new leaps now, but still the mass production, when we need to manufacture 10,000 pieces a day, that is not there, though design flexibility is very high in additive manufacturing. So certain resource efficiency, that is prioritizing the use of materials etc. and recycling the materials, these are all to be taken care of. Life cycle assessment, this I will talk about in the next lecture. Conduct thorough assessments to evaluate the environmental impact of a product. You can do it from raw material extraction through manufacturing, distribution, use and eventual disposal. This is what I just called as cradle to grave. Then green technologies, implementing environmental friendly technologies and processes such as energy efficient equipment and sustainable production methods. These are very important. These are there to minimize emissions, and to minimize resource consumption. Along with this, supply chain, that is supply chain sustainability. Ensuring that sustainability principles extend throughout the supply chain, collaborating with suppliers is very important. These are the suppliers who adhere to the eco-friendly standards. For instance, at Medtech IIT Kanpur, we have ISO 13485. This ISO 13485 system says the vendor from whom you are purchasing the material should also have an ISO system implemented with them. That is, the material that you are purchasing should also have a track of where this material has come from, who is the manufacturer, and if anything goes bad in the product that we are developing through Medtech IIT Kanpur, that material could also be tracked, that who was given that material. Similarly, ESG suggests, ESG as I said, environmental social governance. When you try to implement the green technology in your system, the green technology is the material that you have consumed, you have to also talk with the suppliers who are also having the certification, which are having certain green badges on the materials. So those are important. So continuous improvement, committing to ongoing improvement by adopting new technologies, processes and sustainable practices, they emerge to stay at the forefront of environmental responsibility in manufacturing. When we talk about sustainability in engineering, I have talked about economic sustainability, in which engineering system must be cost effective and financially viable. Environmental sustainability is being talked about. Functional sustainability is also there in engineering. The function of the product, the designs must meet user needs, ensuring reliability, health, safety and performance throughout the system's life cycle. Then physical sustainability, systems should withstand operational forces, accidental stresses and natural hazards to maintain durability and resilience. Political sustainability, engineering solutions should align with the public policies, regulations, governance frameworks for societal approval and legal compliance. Social sustainability, products or projects that you are working upon should be socially acceptable. This we have already talked about. So now I have introduced functional, physical and political sustainability, that is the regulations, when I am talking about sustainability in engineering. So other three, economic, environmental and social, were already being discussed when we were talking about sustainability as a whole sum. In engineering, energy reduction, energy efficiency, renewable energy, low carbon energy and conventional energy. This is how we go from the top to bottom. And as I have talked about, reduce and conserve materials is one of the major endeavors that we take. That is, we even refuse to use something. Refuse means minimizing the consumption even. If we are able to do something without a water bottle that is being disposable each day, we try to use a bottle which is filled each day. So that is, we try to refuse something. Then encourage cyclic use of resources and shift incentives to stop wasting. Manufacturers design products for sustainable and take back system. That is, we can take back the product, we can try to recycle it whenever required. Reuse, if you purchase a product, you try to use it for some time. You purchase a car, you try to use that car for 5 years, then what does happen to the car? You sell it to the other person, the person who takes the used car. It goes as a second-hand car to the other person. This is reusing of the product. Recycling, when the car has gone through its complete use cycle, the initial 15 years of certification, the recertification of pollution, etc., you keep on getting, then it goes to the overall dismantling. When we dismantle, the metallic material, the plastic material is segregated, then this metallic material is sometimes recasted to reuse it, as we have seen the casting process in the beginning lectures as well. So those could also be there. The recycle, inorganics and organics are recycled separately, then only we go for disposal. That should be the last resort. Talking about the political sustainability, there are certain regulations and policies such as ISO 14001. This is an internationally recognized environmental and management system, as we have the QMS, quality management system, which is known as ISO 9001. This is EMS, environmental management system standard that helps companies to implement effective sustainability strategies. It provides guidelines for reducing waste, managing resources efficiently and complying with legal requirements. Then we have EU Green Deal. EU is European Union, a European Union initiative that mandates industries to achieve climate neutrality by 2050. So there are indices which are there for different kinds of the products or industry. There are industry indices, When I say indices, this means it has indicators. There are also product indices. Indicators means, for example, in an industry, I am talking about EU Green Deal. It talks about promoting clean energy, circular economy principles, stringent emission norms to encourage sustainable manufacturing. There are indices. What is the amount of pollution that is being generated per unit of the product that you are manufacturing? What is the water consumption? What is the air pollution that is being generated? What is transportation, that is the amount of transportation that is happening. So all those indices becomes the indicators of your sustainable system. Then EPR, extended producer responsibility. This policy holds manufacturers accountable for entire life cycle of their products, including disposal and recycling. Companies must design products that are easier to recycle and ensure proper waste management. So before closing this lecture, let me try to give you a brief introduction to the upcoming technologies which are there. There are upcoming sustainable technologies, that is future of sustainable tech in the world. Sustainable travel, it is eco-friendly wayfinders, bamboo flashlights, rainproof solar chargers, eco-friendly tech, that is smart appliances, which, for example, the lights of the room just gets off when you leave the room. There are light sensors, proximity sensors, then are smart irrigation sources, drip irrigation systems, green building, environmental benefits, clean and renewable sources of energy, improved air quality, access to resource services. Then we have renewable energy sources, specifically solar, wind, biofuel, etc., recycling technologies, smart home technology, financial benefits of, then they also have the financial benefits always. Let me try to talk about a few upcoming sustainable technologies, that is green hydrogen in industrial processes. Hydrogen is emerging as a clean fuel alternative in manufacturing, replacing fossil fuel and significantly lowering carbon footprints. AI and automation cannot be ignored here. Artificial intelligence enhances process optimization, reducing material waste, energy consumption, and emissions through predictive analytics. 3D printing, additive manufacturing, as I talked about, the material waste is reduced to the minimal or almost no material waste is there. This helps to have a precise manufacturing and promoting the use of recycled materials in production. Though this is an upcoming, but this has to be developed to a mass production scale. There are certain efforts being taken. For example, the nozzle that is there to develop or print it in one go. There are multiple nozzles, 10 nozzles that work together to develop 10 components in that go. So those certain points are there in additive manufacturing as well. Smart factories and IoT integration. IoT enables smart factories, improve energy management, streamline operations, and enhance resource efficiency. The light sensor which I'm talking about that is there in the room, this light sensor that gets off, the fan goes off, the AC goes off when you leave the room. This is all IoT, Internet of Things, that is using sensors which helps to manage the energy. Biodegradable and bio-based materials, the shift toward using plant-based compostable materials in manufacturing helps minimize environmental impact and pollution. For example, in cutting fluids itself, when vegetable-based fluids are there, which are nowadays being researched upon, and when these are disposed, they do not harm the environment at large. Blockchain and transparent supply chains. Blockchain technology ensures traceability in supply chains, helping companies monitor sustainability, compliance, and ethical sourcing. Waste to energy innovations, that is waste treatment technologies that convert industrial waste into usable energy. There are certain technologies where the used material is converted into something useful. That is, for example, glass that was being wasted, that is somewhere there is research that is happening that is going to convert that glass into road material itself. Reducing landfill dependence and promoting circular economies. Carbon capture and storage, which I talked about, carbon credits, I talked about the carbon footprint. Industries are investing in CCS technologies to capture and store carbon dioxide emissions and reducing their environmental impact. Along with this, two other systems such as digital twin technology for sustainability. Digital twins simulate manufacturing processes to identify energy inefficiencies and optimize production before implementation. Digital twin is when you are doing a manufacturing along with this, the systems are happening in a computer. Whatever goes wrong with your actual manufacturing, like for example, in actual lathe machine, if you are working, the temperature is going beyond the limit, is going very high. This will be rectified there in the digital twin itself. Net zero factories. Net zero factories are designed to operate with minimal carbon emissions through renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable material sourcing. That is net zero. Energy that is being consumed is equal to the energy that is being generated. That is net zero factories. To summarize, sustainability in manufacturing is an essential paradigm shift that balances economic growth with environmental responsibility. As industries move towards greener practices, embracing innovation, regulatory compliance, and corporate responsibility will define the future of manufacturing. With technological advancements and global collaboration, the transition to sustainable production will not only benefit businesses, but also contribute to a healthier planet. In this week, we will be majorly focusing now upon understanding the sustainability in a manufacturing system. I have given you a brief introduction to what sustainability is. Now, we will talk about life cycle assessment. Then we will talk about the green unit manufacturing process, that is green machining. Thank you.